Good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1545. It is Tuesday. Hey, look at my floor. Oh, it's my table. So it's kind of an optical illusion. This is not the floor. The table that's right next to me. So I cleaned up. So much space to sort more cards and get this all messy again. So did a little cleanup in here and in the rec room. I do feel better. I do feel better. Not because I'm not going to break my leg or ankle stepping over boxes of cards, trying to avoid in my little maze, but I don't know. It gives me like a clear head. Like if I want to sort, I can sort in here, have the game on, whatever. Although the Cubs, the boys of Zimmer, baby. The Cubs, ugly loss yesterday to the Brewers. We're not going to talk about it. It was a good thing that last night's game got rained out because although I thought about it, it's like, you know what? Let's just get it over with. Like if the Cubs are going to come out in a game like that, in a series like that, and get it started like that, let's just get it over with. Like let's not take it one game at a time. Let's get all the games out and doubleheader. Let's just go. Let's go. So we'll see. We'll see how things turn out the rest of the week. Cubs and Brewers. It drove me to drink last night. My buddy Ted, he's like, beers. I'm like, yeah. No, it didn't really drive me to drink last night. But so I went to, and I haven't hung out for, I haven't gone out for beers in months, it seems. So it's nice to get out and have a couple beers. And I had a burger. I'm like, I need to get groceries. I'm like, you know what? I'll just hold off and get one of them cheeseburgers. They have good burgers there. The Village Green in downtown Middleton. So did that. Got some shipping done. Got my shipping down from 652 to start yesterday down to like 430. So still a lot of shipping to do. I'm going to squeeze in another eBay Live this afternoon. It's going to be a blitz, little pop-up auction this afternoon. We're going to do 200 auctions, blitz-style, 5-second sudden death today. A lot of stuff that I picked up from the Janesville Card Show. It's going to be a lot of like the dollar box stuff. Now, when I say dollar box stuff, it's good dollar box stuff. It's not, So some good stuff. I'm going to throw some slabs. I still have more slabs. We're going to do blitz style 5-second slabs. So looking forward to doing that. Last night, I did before I went up downtown, I guess. Before I went downtown, I went to, I started listing some of the packs. For Wax Weekend this coming Saturday, 7 p.m. Central. It's Wax Weekend. I've got to get those. I got to get those. I wonder if I can do. Where's my unopened Wax Weekend? Go to listings. I want to do this to see from store, and I bet I can't. I bet I've got to copy the. Yeah. So I've got to copy the numbers from I've got to download the report of scheduled listings. So that's still kind of a pain, but it's easier than the old method that I was doing. So that's not too bad. So yeah, we're going to do another eBay live stream this afternoon. I'm going to have some news about branching out on eBay Live. I got some information. It's something that's been spinning through my head how to do it, and had some nice feedback from eBay yesterday regarding the questions I had. We're going to jump on a call next week, and I want to get some stuff locked in and figure out how to proceed in what I'm thinking, because I know other channels are doing it. But I think they're doing it differently from how I envision doing it. And so I know that's very gray, because I don't want to release this idea and then say, oh, sorry, not going to go through with it. So, so why even say it to begin with? I don't know, because I just talk out of my ass sometimes. So yeah. All right, let's go to the chat. I don't have much to talk about. That's why there's no title. So you're gonna drive. So Bargain Boxer is here. So Bargain Boxer, if you don't want this to be only 20 minutes, if you want me to go an hour, you've got to provide some content in the chat to keep me talking. So that's your responsibility, because it might only be 20 minutes today. So it's up to the chat to drive this conversation. You're in the driver's seat, Bargain Boxer. Good morning. Kevin, what's happening? What's good? What's going on? Good morning. ET, what's going on? I actually caught one at the beginning. Yes. And oh shit, we're late. It's almost 9 o'clock. I did sleep in a little bit. Ernie woke me up at 6. And then I think I woke up at 8. I think I woke up. And then when I wake up, he wakes up and he's like, all right, time to go potty again. So then I just kind of lounged around. Usually you start them so dang early that I'm late to the party. Let's not talk about ugly losses. I'm a Rangers fan. I don't even know like what, besides the Brewers and Cubs, I don't know what the rest of the league is doing. I just haven't paid I haven't been paying attention. I've been paying attention to Cubs games. I haven't been watching them, fortunately. And the good thing is I'm blacked out from this series because I'm in Wisconsin. So I'm blacked out from Brewers games. Now, I know I can go to Stream East or one of those, but it's a pain. It's not like turn the TV on, go to MLB TV, click, boom, and I get the Cubs game. With Stream East or whatever, I have to go to the internet browser, and then I have to figure out how to get there because I don't watch it that often, and then go through all those hoops. And it's like, I'm lazy like that. So that's a good thing. So I didn't. Excuse me, I'm tired. I'm still trying to catch up because I didn't sleep that much today. Last night was Monday. Sunday night, I didn't get much sleep because I was on late on eBay Live. And then Ernie woke me up at like 4. And then again at 6. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm just getting up. So I actually got a lot done yesterday, but I probably was only at 50%. Like I probably put in 10 hours of work, or wait, no, reverse that. I probably put in 5 hours of work over 10 hours yesterday. I was working for 10 hours, maybe more, but I didn't get 10 hours worth of work done because I was like just walking through. I was just kind of like zombie. And we'll see how things are today. Let's see where we at. Mark says, good morning. Was able to buy a large vintage collection yesterday from a guy I met at the post office 6 months ago. I love the post office meetups. We struck up a conversation about sports cards, and he brought his collection down from NYC to sell to me. That's awesome. That is awesome. Gem City says that's a lot of shipping. That was a lot of shipping, and there's more to come. Chris says, I had dinner at the Village Green when I was there. Oh, nice. Very cool. Yeah, the Village Green is the burgers are awesome. It's a dive bar, and I love it. And Chris now has an idea of what the Village Green is. It's a dive bar in the middle of, like, literally in the middle of this bougie block. There's like boutiques, and like the Sotheby's real estate company is right across the street, and there's the fitness place is Peter. His mom was our travel agent. Peter, he was on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. Not Peter Cons. He was a football player here. Peter Carl. I can't remember. Anyway, no. I said that already. But anyway, so it's a nice fitness center, and he was on The Bachelor, The Bachelorette. It's like a really bougie. There's a wine bar across on the other side, and of course there's the Mustard Museum too. And the Village Green is this, like, literally, it's green and it's wood paneled. It sticks out like a sore thumb, and I love it, and I hope it stays that way. I hope they don't get forced to look bougie, because it's not a bougie place, and that's why I love it. Unicorn Cupcake says, very nice to Mark. Cody's in the house. Good morning. Room looks somewhat clean. Yeah, I had to, because it's been clean. The cleaners were here. So I cleaned it for the cleaners. So it's double clean. Actually, I just picked up, and then the cleaners mopped and swept and dusted. Good morning, David. What's up? Sunflowers here. Good morning. A day off from work. It's my day to pick up the basement. Oh, there you go. There you go. My problem with picking up the basement is, and especially yesterday, because I was, running on little sleep, for me, little sleep, that what happens is I just get, yesterday I was just getting tired. Oh, it gets residual tired, and maybe the beer that I drank. But what happens when I pick up is I don't have, and I need to, when I go to pick up and organize my space, I need to have a clear plan of attack, and I never do. What happens is I'll go through a box and it's like, oh, this would be good for eBay Live, or I'm gonna put lots together for these on Live, and then I've got piles everywhere, and it ends up being twice as bad as when I started. And then it's like, oh, I got to go do this, or I got to go on Live. Oh, I better go ship. Oh, it's dinner time, whatever. And then nothing gets done, and it's worse than how I found it. So when I do pick up, although yesterday I knew I was running against the clock, and I think that's just what I should do. It's like, oh, I've got to get this done by this time. So I was running against the clock because I knew the cleaners were going to come, and I never know when. Like sometimes it could be 10 a.m. I think they've come as early as 9 a.m. They've come as late as like 4:30 in the afternoon. So it's basically between 9 and 5. The cleaners will show up. Usually they're consistent around 1 o'clock. But sometimes it's like first thing in the morning, or first thing in the morning for 9 a.m. speaking. Sometimes it's like at the end of the day, and it's like, so it's like 4 o'clock, and it's like, well, why don't you just come tomorrow? Gem City says, is there a market for scoundrel repacks? I'm thinking Menendez Brothers relics, OJ Autos, Pete Rose rookies. I'm sure we could add in some financial scammers, certain politicians. So there is a live, I've got a live customer who collects criminals. And like I've known of criminal collectors just through social media, card shows, but they collect criminals. And I've got a guy in my stream, he'll pop in, do you have any criminals? And literally, like, that's what he wants. It's like, well, let's see. Here's OJ. Let's run OJ Simpson. And he'll bid on that stuff. Unicorn says, I love the way your lips move when you were talking out of your ass. Sorry, had to. I started reading that. I'm like, what's going on? Kevin says, I've got a question. I sometimes get very jealous of other sellers, and sometimes I have to disconnect from everything and focus on me. Do you ever have or had moments like that? Absolutely. I think everybody does. And the thing is, I think what you're doing is the best healthy alternative to doing that. Just disconnect. And, sometimes we, I'm in a Cubs group chat that I think envy is something some people have more envy than others. But I think there's a certain level of envy in everybody when they see other collections. I have over 1 million Cubs baseball cards, but I also have a lot of junk. And like, I don't have high-end stuff. Like, I've got some nice tobacco cards, but I think the most I've paid for a Cubs card, and I paid for my Allen and Ginter Jimmy Ryan, I think I paid $450, I think. Now, it was a great deal. But that's the most I've ever spent on a card. And I think I spent the same amount. I think I also spent $450 on a first Bowman Chrome Auto Gleyber Torres. Oops. You win some, you lose some. Great deal on Jimmy Ryan. The shits on Gleyber Torres. But I see in my Cubs group chat, like, guys with a PSA 8 Ernie Banks rookie card. And it's like, holy shit. And the Cap Anson run from the 1800s. And it's like, and it's like, but I've got to remember, like, that's not my lane. My lane is quantity of somewhat quality. I don't have quantity of those awesome cards, but I've got quantity of $10, $20 cards. So yeah, sometimes it's best to just take a step back, focus on yourself, and then once you get to a happy, healthy place, you can resume normal activity. So yeah, I think what you're going to, it's normal what you're experiencing, and disconnecting is the perfect way to combat that. Focus on your own collection, your own business, and your own goals. And I think it's also healthy to compare yourself to others to drive you. Although we're all different, some of us can put $10 in a slot machine and walk away. Some people, that $10 turns into thousands and thousands of dollars, and they're addicted to gambling. So each person is different. My advice might not work for you, others, but it could. The only thing I know is my advice works for me, and it might work for others. Other people can give me advice, and it's like, it's not going to work for me. Some people say something, it's like, yeah, you know what? That's really smart for me. But yeah, that's a great question. And I think for me, others do drive me. It's like, well, it's that competitive nature. And I think we all have a competitive nature. And of course that also varies from person to person. And that drives me. And, but it can also get unhealthy. Like there's balance to it. And once you start noticing it, that's the first step to realizing, okay, I need to take a step back. I need to take a breath. I need to go for a walk, whatever you need to do. But yeah, I think it's absolutely healthy. And what you're doing is very healthy. Where are we at? Gem City says, Kevin, you're not alone, but I find listing more and rolling ahead is the best cure. And I would agree with that. You know what? Because that's also, you're focusing on yourself in that practice. It's like, you know what? And that also, if you want to get to your goals, that's what it is. And if you are spending time admiring others, you are taking you're taking that energy away from your own hobby or business, whatever it might be. And just focus on you. And it's like, you can only control, that aspect. Chris said the Brewers 13-game win streak reminded me of George Webb. Yeah, they gave away burgers. I ate there when I was in Milwaukee. There was something about free meals if the Brewers ever won. Yeah, so they won, 13 in a row. I don't know why. I don't know what that number is. Unicorn says 12 in a row gets a free burger at Webb's. Yeah. Do you know why it's 12 in a row? Like, what is that number? Is that number meaningful? I don't know. Collector's Dream, Orlando, good morning. John says Green Jeep 1 headed to Brooklyn as we speak. Uh-oh. Cody says, I believe the Village Green used to be the railway station. That could be way back. I do know it was a bowling alley for a long time, and that's why it basically takes up what would be the entire block. It's the width of it. It's a very long bar. And it was a bowling alley. It was a bowling alley. There was I think on the menus, it has like the history. I don't know if it explained all the way back, but I was paying closer attention to the bowling, and the owner was telling Buddy and me about it a while back. The bowling alley part of it, because I think the owner he had bought it. The owner now worked there when he was like a kid, and for the previous owner, and then came back and like worked there multiple times. And then eventually that owner was like, if I ever, when I retire, I want to turn it over to you, sell it to you. So that's what happened. But I think it became a bowling alley maybe in the 40s, 50s. And it very well could have been a railway station before that. Chris says, if you left all your piles of cards out, when the cleaners come, maybe they would organize them. I don't want to take those chances. John says, I now write notes in all of the boxes to differentiate where shit goes. eBay, TCDB, collection, Facebook Marketplace. Used to think I'd remember. My memory is shot. Oh, yeah. Same. I'll put boxes, and I have shelving. I have shelving units that are supposed to be for each, this is going to go to eBay. And then sometimes maybe only half the box is eBay stuff, and the other half is just junk or something different. And it just gets lost in the shuffle. And now, my shipping area is just an absolute fucking disaster. John says eBay doesn't allow criminals. Manson Auto not allowed. Yeah, and there was a time they were taking down the Menendez brothers card. Back when, I don't know if it was when it first went viral. It's gone viral a couple times over the years. Usually when the Menendez brothers are in the news. But they were taking those cards down. But they're good to go now. Chris says they're not slot machines, they're skill games. My bad. Unicorn says the skill is not putting money in them. Jim City says sometimes you got to say fuck them and roll with it. Amen. All right. Well, hey, we're at 20 minutes. Bargain Boxer didn't add anything to the conversation. So Bargain Boxer, where you at? I don't have anything else to talk about. Where are we at? Unicorn says, I have bought war criminal cards on eBay, the Mustache Man. There's definitely certain criminals that eBay will take the listings down. But you can get away with the Menendez brothers, OJ Simpson, Pete Rose, stuff like that. Ray Caruth. But I think when it comes to like serial killers, I think that's, we're going down that rabbit hole again. I think when it comes to serial killers and that sort of thing, I think that's where eBay draws the line. Gem City says just sold a Saddam. Yeah, I've put Saddam Hussein cards on there. Chris says, so now we know that Keating either tried to buy or sell a Manson auto on eBay, right? Cooter says Trump. Gem City says plenty of George W. Bush too. Hey-o. Aren't all politicians criminals? Allegedly. All right. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Today at 1 o'clock, I'm going to go on eBay Live. Dad Dude from Duryea, what's up? Has there ever been a criminal card release? Yes. 70s, 80s type thing. Yeah, there was... I think it was like a deck. And I'm sure there's been plenty of cards. I think there was an actual card set. I know there's been playing cards of different criminals. Let's look it up on eBay. Criminals card set. There's a 1992. There's a True Crime Series 1 and 2 trading card set. There's a True Crime Eclipse trading cards, serial killers. You got Ted Bundy, Carl Panzram. I don't know who that is. Oh, those are the only 2 cards. Variations. That's why I don't like variation listings. Oh, here's one. Oh, this has got, these are by Ed Kemper. The Babysitter. I don't know. Most of these I've never heard of. Jack the Stripper. Never heard of Jack the Stripper. This is from a seller called Junk Wax Bombs. That's a pretty cool name. Paul Knowles, Raymond Morris, Patrick McKay, Alton Coleman. Never heard of those. Norris and Bittaker. IRS corruption. Nathaniel White, Frank Butler. Oh, here's a checklist. Donald Evans. This is True Crime 2 Series 4 checklist. Serial killers and mass murderers. Donald Evans. Don't know who that is. Eileen Wernos. She was, I think she was like a landlord, if I'm not mistaken. The Hall Mills case. Larry Eiler. He was, I think he was a Midwest serial killer. Fernandez and Beck. Don't know them. Carl Panzram. Henry Landrew. Bell Gunnis. Norman Collins. Jack the Stripper. Ed Kemper. Paul Knowles, Patrick McKay, Raymond Morris, Norris and Bittaker, the babysitter, Alton Coleman, Gary Christ, Dorothea Puente, that's who I was thinking of. She was the landlady. The Interstate Murders, Richard Tingler, Mary Beth Tinning, Coral Watts, The Zebra Killings, Leopold and Loeb, Lizzie Borden, Lori Dan, Frank Butler, Parker and Holm, Issei Sagawa, Nathaniel White, Arthur Bishop, Goran Waterfield, Clifford Olson, Richard Cottingham, George Hennard, Andre Chicatillo, Kenneth McDuff. These must be worldwide based on some of the names. Patrick Purdy, John Taylor, Arthur Shawcross, Indian Island Massacre, Lou Gang, Axeman of New Orleans, Christine and Lee Papin, John Phillips, No Sousa, Sonny Bean, Joseph Fallett, Wanda Holloway, Randy Mock, Luigi Longhi. So there you go. True crime. So yes, there have been true crime card sets. Where's my screen at? There we go. Where are we at? Cody says, I have a gold Aaron Hernandez rookie. That's probably worth something. There's a lot of Aaron Hernandez collectors, probably the criminal collectors. Gem City says specifically war criminals. Max says Hunter, Joe, Hillary, and Bill are on there too. You ain't lying. This the breaks. What's up? I got the Storm and Norman card, mint fresh. Unicorn says they used to have People of NYC card issue, which I thought was a cool idea, but it floundered. As stated before, fuck them and roll on. Just everyday folks. Michael Renicky, what's going on? Holy crap, I actually caught you live. Here we are. A little late today. You caught me live. Gem City says Panzram was a railroad killer as well. Probably the scariest person I've come across. Interesting. I'll have to look him up. Cooter says bought 2 TCMA sets on eBay that delivered yesterday. Both had 1 card missing. Frustrating because TCMA can be tough to source rare singles. Yeah, that is annoying. And if you find them, they're probably going to be, $5-10 in some cases. Max says plenty of criminal releases out there. Tough to find, though, and when you find, more expensive. That dude says, I think I've seen a Jack the Ripper card and Bonnie and Clyde. Chris says, I think the George Webb 12-game win streak giveaway challenge was that it would have been their longest win streak. That makes sense. Also, the 2 clocks deal was really interesting, a way to get around Milwaukee. Max says, no McVeigh card, though. Gem City says, Eileen was a hitchhiking murderer. Oh, okay. Chris says, ban on 24-hour establishments. Oh. Gem City says, if you like Eileen, check out Catherine Knight, also scary. Oh, Ernie's awake. The break says, new subject, LOL. Yeah. You know what? True crime channels on YouTube are like freaking insane. Like a not very popular, like in the hobby, like most YouTube hobby channels are a couple thousand subscribers, anywhere between like 1 and 5,000 subscribers. And then there's a few, have a big following. And like the biggest channel is probably 100,000 in the hobby, like 100,000. Jeff Wilson probably. True crime, like 100,000 is like any Joe Schmo does some true crime and it's like 100,000 views. It's crazy. Now, of course, not every true crime is like that, but and I'm sure there's a ton of 500 and 1,000 subscriber channels, but it just seems like there's a lot more people love the true crime. Max says, guess I'm wrong. There was one, but likely a homebrew. Gem City says, cards that kill. Trademarking that now. Cooter says, Hank Thompson broke color barriers for 2 teams, then broke the law. Armed robbery. Interesting. Hank Thompson. All right. I'm going to go make me some mushroom coffee. We're going to get Ernie off to school. That dude from Duryea says there is money behind all those channels. Oh, I'm sure there is. Sure there is. All right. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Coming up today, 1 o'clock, I'm going to do a pop-up eBay Live this afternoon, 1 p.m. And we're going to do a bargain box blitz, 5 seconds sudden death auctions. 200 auctions of cards that I picked up from Saturday's Janesville Card Show. So don't miss out because there's some good deals that are had, especially during the day and when you only have 5 seconds to bid. So come check me out today, 1 o'clock on eBay Live. I've got to get that scheduled still. This The Break says, I'm on the crime channels every week. It's crazy. They even feud with other crime channels on if a killer is innocent or not. Yeah. And that's what I found interesting on some of the recent cases. And, one channel will say he's guilty and blah, blah, blah. And the other channel is like, he's innocent. So I think one of the biggest recent true crime cases that there's a lot of mixed emotion and reaction based on the verdict was the Delphi murder case of the 2 young girls in Indiana. And Richard Allen was convicted by a jury a few months ago. Jury convicted him guilty of the murders. And I don't think he did it. And there's many channels that are on that same page. And I think an attorney is actually come up and is going to try to fight and appeal and try to get him off. So it's interesting that, some of the channel, they feud with each other. Sometimes they feud with each other. Sometimes it's just the narrative that they spin is, they're only going to tell you the side of guilt, or the other channel is only going to tell you the side of innocent. And obviously we know sometimes the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Tracy says, good morning. This will be the earlies for me until breaks. School is out this year. Day 2 of school with students. Well, welcome. Orlando says, Ernie going to visit his girlfriends. Oh, so we found out Ernie's first love, Augie, is no longer attending daycare. I was a little concerned. Well, did she leave because of Ernie's new love? That's not the case. So Ernie is not a cheater. Ernie is not a cheater. He was a widow. His original girlfriend left him. So Augie's mom worked at the daycare. She adopted him. She was basically the foster. She was a foster for Augie. And we actually thought about adopting her. And the girl ended up adopting Augie. And so when she worked there, she brought Augie in, and Ernie and Augie had their love. And then Augie left. So Ernie had to find a new love. And he did with Millie, the little wiener dog. So Millie and Ernie are now the cutest doggy couple at daycare. Kevin says, what time is live? 1 p.m. Central, 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Western or West Coast, noon Mountain Time. I don't know what time in Korea. Dan's sleeping right now. This The Break says the last serial killer was BK and Brian Koberger. There was channels that were fans of him, mostly women. Yes, that's the most recent. I think that was open and shut basically. But there were what they called pro-burgers, his last name Koberger, pro-burgers that thought he, didn't do it, and women, he's going to get fan mail from women, and it's disgusting, but it is what it is. Tracy says, hope everyone is having a great week. I agree. 1 o'clock today, eBay Live. Madison Card Show is coming up next Saturday. Alliant Energy Center show, 250 tables, completely sold out. I've been taking a ton of requests for tables this week. There's just no more space. We grew out of our space. Now there's a much larger space. There's 100,000 square feet next to it in the big hall. Maybe next year, but I like the size. I mean, maybe a few more tables would be nice, but I like the size, and I just don't think for even a every other month show, I don't know if I want to utilize that space, but hey, never say never. So next Saturday, August 30th, Labor Day weekend, we've got the Madison Card Show. Also, if you're come into town, it's the Taste of Madison that week as well. So traffic might be a little hairy on John Nolan Drive. But stick around and check out Taste of Madison as well. The show runs 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Alliant Energy Center next Saturday, Labor Day weekend. Rooms are divided. Sports in one room, TCG, mostly Pokemon, in the other. We've got our premium tables in the middle, just like 2 months ago in June. So come on out. A note: parking is $8. I can't help that. That's what it is. Even if I wanted to pay for the parking, I can't because there's another event going on. In fact, the rest of the year, there's other events going on at the venue. So there's an $8 parking fee. If you want to park in the parking lot, you don't have to. You can get dropped off and walk in. You can ride your bike. You can maybe find parking elsewhere. Do whatever you do at your own risk. But parking lot parking is $8. I did learn they do not take cash at the gate. Now, you got to pay cash at the admission. I'll probably be, especially early on, I'll be standing there. So if you want to do Venmo or PayPal, I'll likely be there to take that for the admission fee, $5 admission. And then parking in the parking lot is $8. It is what it is. It's an expensive venue. And I don't want to do this for free. And I certainly don't want to lose money on it. So it is what it is. Deal with it. I was actually looking through, I had an old Beckett from 1993. So we're 32 years ago. There were 6 different card shows in Madison, Wisconsin in August 1993. So I'm like, I'm curious because most of them had admission. I think 4 of the 6 had admission of $1. So if you went to all in obviously none of them were 250 table shows. I think the total in the 6 shows was 260 tables. If you wanted to see all 260 tables, which is about the same as what you'll get next week, the admission was $4 back in 1993. So I found that to be interesting. I always find this interesting. One of the shows, the tables were $100 in 1993. I think the rest were like $30. 30, $35 seemed to be. And that was 30 plus years ago. So I found that to be interesting. So that's next Saturday, Madison Card Show, Alliant Energy Center. High school ref, what's going on? Have you had any issues with standard envelope showing up empty lately with a tear in the end? I've had 3 different ones in the last 3 weeks. First time I've ever seen that. Interesting. So no, I have not had any issues. I honestly don't send much standard envelope anymore. Most of my buyers, I'm basically selling on eBay Live exclusively. And it's mostly, multiple items. So yeah, there's a few, I ship out, it's not hundreds a day like it used to be. It's, maybe a dozen a day. I've had that happen in the past where there's, or somebody will message me and they're like, hey, this was split. Sometime in most, I'm curious, and I have had this happen. I'm curious, were the cards or cards still in there? Second, was it an actual tear, like somebody tore it? Or what I've had happen with the standard envelopes being opened was it was like the glue came unsealed. So it wasn't like ripped. It was just the glue came undone. So I'm curious. And if it's torn and if it's happened multiple times, I would be reaching out to either your local post office or I'm curious if it's been with, if it was the same area, if it went through the same network, those 3 different envelopes. So, if they were all in Southern California or Chicago, wherever it might be, if it was happening on that end or if it's happening on your local end. So if it actually looks like it's been torn by a person, then I would be concerned with, high school ref says no cards were gone. It's tough to tell from the photos if it's torn by a person or the equipment. So, and that's the other thing is it certainly could be the equipment going through the machines. That was my thought to reach out to the post office. Just never seen that before. So this could also backfire on you. So if it is being torn by the machines, even if it's not being torn by the machines, the postmaster could say, well, it's being torn by the machines and this should be either non-machinable or a package. And they may start rejecting all of your standard envelopes. So this could backfire. So tread lightly, I guess. But that's definitely something you should keep an eye on. Because, yeah, that's 3 times in 3 weeks is a little, I've had it happen. But, I mean, I've had it happen over the course of tens of thousands of envelopes. So there you go. Where we at? This The Break says, if you collect vintage sports magazines, now's the time to buy due to PSA getting into grading magazines. Prices will probably rise. I'll tell you what, none of my magazines are going to be worth grading. This The Break says, I have MJ and LeBron very first Sports Illustrated covers mint. Get those graded. Mark says, I had a buyer had this issue. There was a rip and the card was gone. Was last week. Interesting. So I'm curious, Mark and High School Ref, I'm curious where, I know where Mark is. I don't know where High School Ref is located, but I'm curious if it's, if both of you had this issue in the last week. Are you in the same area, or was the envelope going to the same area? High School Ref's in North Carolina, so Mark's not too far. Mark's in Florida. All right. I don't know if Kevin's I think in North Carolina too. I wonder if he's had any issues. So yeah, that's interesting. Now 2 people have had an instance. Yeah, it's for me to hear that, it's not uncommon, but it's also not common. And when you have 3 different instances happen in such a short period of time, that does raise a red flag. Envelopes were to different areas of the country. Interesting. Okay. So my thought on that, if they were going to different areas, it's probably happening locally, either at your local post office or at a distribution center in your area. There's Kevin. He says, no issues around the Charlotte area. This The Break says, mailman taking out the cards, or it's a new eBay scam where seller just sends the torn envelope with no card. Well, High School Ref's the seller, so I think he said he's the seller. Or I don't know. Is High School Rep, were you the seller or the buyer in this case? In your cases? Guess I didn't see that. But yeah, either way, whether you're the seller or not, that's interesting. He was the seller. Okay, and that's kind of what I thought, the seller. Alrighty. All right. We're at 9:30. I need to make some coffee. All right. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back on eBay Live today, 1 o'clock Bargain Box Blitz. Bargain Box Blitz coming up 1 o'clock today. We're going to do 200 auctions. We're going to blow through a 5-second blitz-style auction, 1 o'clock this afternoon on eBay Live. So hope you have a great day. Hope to see you on eBay Live this afternoon. If not, we'll be back on tomorrow morning. See you then.